Hey guys, happy Easter. Happy Easter. It's Friday night. It's actually Good Friday, the 15th of April, and we are live. Welcome everyone. So nice to see there's already quite a few people here. If you haven't already, please say hello. Let us know where you are. I love finding out where everybody is. I can see lots of familiar faces here already. Yes, I am here, as you can see, and all the girls are here as well. I thought about maybe not doing tonight because being a Good Friday holiday, but I thought a lot of us are going to be at home and probably not going anywhere. And, it was either do it tonight, not do tonight and do tomorrow night instead, or just go ahead and do tonight as usual. So in the end, I decided to do tonight as usual. Some of you may have seen I was actually away yesterday. I was up in Tamworth to visit my dad. And I came home today, had a nap, and now I'm here. Hey, Barb. Barb, I'm actually going to do one of the cards tonight that we did on Thursday night. So you might enjoy that. Wednesday night, the one that you weren't able to come to. So there you go. And I've sort of pretty much prepared the cards tonight. I might get you guys to help me on a couple of little things, but I've actually sort of planned out my cards a little bit just because I needed to keep it really simple. And we're going to go pretty quickly tonight. So let's see how we go. If anyone has no question, if nobody has a question before we start, I'll switch over to the other camera. Oh, you lived in New Zealand, Denise. I didn't know that. There you go, 4 years. Yeah. Hey, Karen, nice to see you. Hello, everyone. We've got people in Texas. We've got people in Canada. We've got people all over the place. So nice to see everybody here tonight. Hi, Kay. I'm just going through and seeing. I have missed so many people. So my apologies. I can't say hi to everyone tonight because we've just got too many people saying hi. But let's see how we go. All right. A few things going on at the moment. It is April, middle of April. It's Friday. I know it doesn't feel like a Friday, does it, Bronwyn? I know it's a public holiday, but it's Good Friday always throws me a little bit. I end up thinking, what day is it again? But it's Good Friday. I mean, that's in the name. There you go. All right. So a few things happening right now. We have our last chance list still going. So if you haven't already been over there and done some shopping, you just head to the online store and hit the shop button, the shop now button, either on my blog or my Facebook page. Hit the shop now button and go and check out the specials. There are some really, really great things in there. Some things are marked up to half price. Really great time to get things. Once they're sold out, those items are gone. And that's why it's called the last chance list, right? It's because these items are retiring out of our current annual catalogue. And they're not going to be in the new catalogue. So if you want them, you want to go and check that there's nothing on your list that's in there and get them straight away. Now, I see some of you are on YouTube tonight and some of you are on Facebook. Shirley has a question. Does the cutter trimmer have a plastic sheeting on it, or is that you meant to take that off? That throws a few people. I've had a few people say, oh, no, I've done something to it. I made this sheet come off. Yeah, it's meant to come off. So it just protects the surface and it's there for, I know it seems like a silly thing, but yeah, it's meant to actually come off. I hope that answers your question. From the Hunter Valley. Yes, I see you up there. I'm going to be up there this week on Wednesday for a card making day, and I'm pretty sure we're full. Absolutely chock-a-block full. I think the most we've had in quite a while. So I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a good day. That's next Wednesday. All right. I'm going to switch over to my camera. The other thing that's going on right now is the registrations are open for my online class. Okay. Now, I have had a few people express they don't really understand what the online classes are. And I've had a couple of people say, how does this work? Okay, so let me really quickly tell you how it works. I'm going to switch over to the desk. Well, actually, we'll start with me. All right, so right now the camera's on me. An online class is basically just a video tutorial that I have recorded ahead of time. You register for the class either with a $50 order or by paying for the tutorial at $20. Okay, now if you spend $20 and just buy the tutorial, you just get the tutorial. Okay, there are 4 projects in this month's one. You can click on the link and do it any time to suit you. There's no Zoom, there's no specific time that you have to do this. You just click on the YouTube link and watch the tutorial at your convenience. That's it. Okay, now if you're in Australia and you've placed an order with me, you will also get the supplies to make up the projects. Okay, if you haven't, I have actually included a PDF of the measurements so that you can cut up your own pieces. But if you want all the pieces to be sent to you, you do that by placing a $50 order. Okay, now if you are not in Australia, you can't purchase from me, but you can buy the tutorial. So, and that's 20 Australian dollars. If you're in the US, that's not very many dollars because the Australian dollar isn't worth very much. So it's only, I think it works out to be about $14 or something like that US. Something like that. It's pretty good. Oh, thank you, Judy. See, Judy just said the online classes are fantastic. I've got a few people that make sure they get them every single month because they love them. And I think Judy's in that camp. And so I've been doing these since the pandemic started. I used to do them every now and then, but I've been doing them every month since the pandemic started. So a couple of years now. And I'll keep doing them as long as people keep wanting them. So it really comes down to that. Now, if you're in my team of demonstrators, this is a separate issue. You can just buy the tutorial for $20 and I will also send you the class supplies. That's just a special little perk of being in the team. Okay, so hey, Kath, nice to see you. All right. Okay, I'm going to switch over to my camera and I'm going to show you the cards in the class this month. All right, so let's click over there. All right. So like I said, there are 4 projects. There's actually 3 main projects. And in all the marketing, you probably think, well, there's 3 projects, but there's a bonus project this time. So here are the 3 main projects that are in this class. Okay. We are using the Horizons dies and New Horizons suite of products. This is the first one. There's actually a bit of texture on this one. I've used one of the embossing folders. Fairly simple little card. Now, the reason I did 4 projects this time was because to me, even though they're beautiful, these projects are so simple that the class went for less long than it normally does. So I threw in a bonus project to make it, they're usually about an hour-ish, okay? This one goes for exactly an hour. I think it might be a second over or something like that, but it's right on the hour mark anyway. And these are really simple little cards, but they give you a really great introduction to the suite. And this is online classes are a great thing to do if you want to try out a suite and see if you like it or not. Okay, you don't have to commit to buying the suite before you have the projects. Now, I have done a little bit of stamping with the stamp set from this set. It's called On the Horizon. Actually, I'm just thinking, did I put it next to the desk? Maybe not. I might have to go and fetch it if I decide I'm going to use it. So I've done a little bit of stamping, like I stamped the birds, okay? But if you don't have this set, you can use birds from any set. Other sets have birds, right? And if you don't have the words, you can use whatever words you have in your collection. So you don't actually have to have the set to make up the projects. But it's a great way to try out the set to see if you like it or not. So this is the 3rd one. This is the specialty one. There's always a specialty card or a special fold card. This one is what we call a panorama flap card. And when you open it up, you can see there's a little extra flap here. And when I open that, I've got the rest of the picture. Can you see there? That's the whole picture as it goes across. We've got the 2 parts of the gate, got some little pebbles down here. All of these things are included in your packs. Okay, so if you're placing an order, or if you're in my team and you're buying the tutorial, you will get the pack sent out to you in the mail. I'll be sending those around about Thursday next week. Okay, so that is the plan. All right, so they're the 3 projects. And then I told you there's a bonus project. So I didn't put this anywhere in the marketing, but this is the bonus project. This is the card. It's very simple. It's just using the dies in a slightly different way to create a picture. And I did this one originally with Balmy Blue as the water, but then I thought, oh, it would look nice if it was glittery. So I don't know if you can see, but we've got some glimmery water, and I've given you both in the pack, so you can decide whether you want glitter water or whether you just want the blue water. So there you go. That's the 4th project. So that's what's in the class this time. I'm looking back over comments to see if I've missed anything. If you miss a month, I'm no longer alive. Oh dear, Judy, that's a bit desperate. I hope we never have to go to that extent. So there you go. Well, I think they turned out really nice, and I'm hoping that lots of you are going to make them with me. They're a bit of fun, and I'm going to use the same set, the same suite to do our first card tonight. I've been trying to do this when I'm, and I've already, you can see I've already gone ahead and cut out some pieces. So I've been trying to, when I have a class running, I try and do one of the cards in my live videos using the same suite as what my monthly class is that month. Okay, so that way it reminds me to talk about it, but it also gives you some ideas of other things you can do with this same stuff if you were considering getting it at some point. Okay, so this is, I've actually done a card base this time with Fresh Freesia, which is one of the cards in pack. And let me grab the DSP because it is absolutely beautiful. I've got it just behind me here. Now it is 6x6 paper. Okay, so you can see I've got mine a little bit out of order, but that's okay. I'll just pop that back in there. And on the back, it says New Horizons 6x6 Designer Series paper. The colours in it are Blackberry Bliss, Bumblebee, Calypso Coral, Evening Evergreen, Fresh Freesia, which is this, Garden Green, Misty Moonlight, Old Olive, Pale Papaya, Polish Pink, and Soft Succulent. That's a lot of colours in pack paper. But as you can see, these are absolutely beautiful. Who has this one? You know what, Karen, I saw your cards. I saw them the other day, and I just thought, oh my goodness, they're so beautiful. I wish you'd posted that a little earlier. I might have asked if I could borrow one of those beautiful fancy fold cards in my class. But anyway, I had it all sorted, but I just thought your cards were lovely. All right, now you can see also on the back, the designs are really pretty as well. So on the front, you've got more of a scene in most of them, not all of them, but most of the pieces have a scene on one side and then kind of like a random watercolory kind of a thing going on the back here. Okay, so yeah, they are really beautiful. And some of them, it's not really obvious what it might be, but you could do you can do different things with it and turn it into something. It reminds me a little bit. Okay, stay with me here. Who remembers Mr. Squiggle? Mr. Squiggle used to get, for those of you who don't know Mr. Squiggle, this is really dating me now. I loved Mr. Squiggle as a child. I just thought he was the best thing ever. And on the Mr. Squiggle, what used to do was kids would send in, I don't know if they really did or if they just had someone in the design team draw them up, but they used to draw scribbles on a piece of paper and send them into Mr. Squiggle, and Mr. Squiggle used to turn those crazy random scribbles into an amazing picture. Okay, so does anyone remember? This reminds me, this is kind of like, what am I going to make out of this? I just call me Mr. Scribble, right? Mr. Squiggle. Oh, so you loved Mr. Squiggle, Elizabeth. Yeah, see, it's not just me. And then on the back of that one, we've got like a random watercolory pale papaya piece. Miss Jane and Blackboard. Remember Blackboard? You used to get so impatient. Hurry up. Hurry up. So, yeah, we're dating ourselves now, but I used to love. And look at these beautiful patterns on the back. They're gorgeous too, right? Your hubby loved him. Yeah, Mr. Squiggle was the best. So you can see all this. This is actually a really nice one. The girls keep telling me there's a building in here. And Megan even sent me a picture the other night and put a circle around it to make sure I didn't miss it. Thanks, Megan. Showing our age, I know, right? Many happy hours spent in front of Mr. Squiggle. And then they got rid of Mr. Squiggle. Off he went. They modernised him and it was never the same. And then, Now this one is the one I've used on my my big panorama fold-out card. Although I did do a second one with a different scene. So, yeah, you can kind of play around with some of these with different scenes. I'm coming up to one of my favourites. Look at those pretty patterns on the back too. They are just beautiful. I'll try not to go I'm going too slow, I know that. But this one I did with a sailboat and put a boat on the water. In the back of that one we have like an interesting little scene that you could do all kinds of things with. Love this one. This one reminds me of Alaska. And was it Cherie that was talking about the buildings on the corner there? And you can see the awnings on the roofs. So people are being their own little Mr. Squiggle and finding all these different things. This is my favorite one, I think. I love this. I just think that's beautiful. Yes, Donna, you do. You need to stop hoarding it and just use it, because if you really, really, really love it, buy another pack. I'm not even kidding. Okay, when I really love a pack, I make sure I get a couple of them. That way I'm not scared to chop into it. All right, I just use it up. This is beautiful, very, very simple horizon, but really lovely, very atmospheric, some of these. Look at that on the back. That's the one that I've used on this card. This paper here, I've chopped it up and embossed it. And yes, it does come to you in the supply packs embossed, right? Everything's done for you. All you've got to do is get your glue and maybe some scissors and put it together. Bit of stamping. Happy Easter, Jody. See you Sunday night, maybe. I will be here Sunday night. This one reminds me of a galaxy, like you know, the Milky Way or something, and you could do all sorts of interesting things with that. And the back, we've got this beautiful watercolored kind of misty moonlight with a bit of navy in there. It's really, really pretty. And there's more of that, and that's the end. So you can see there are lots and lots of beautiful, beautiful things in there, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. So let's go ahead and fold over this fresh freesia piece. I'm going to use my bone folder and flatten down that edge. All right. Now I'm using the Galaxy one tonight. I thought that was really nice, and I wanted something that wasn't going to compete too much with what I wanted to do. I've cut myself a stitch rectangle, one of the middle sizes, not the really big ones, but not the really small ones either. So there we go. And then I've also done it in, actually I'm still deciding whether I want to do it on the white or whether I want to do it on, I did too in case I change my mind. But I've also gone ahead and I've cut out some of these different pieces. So I've got a couple of mountains. So you can see there's a mountain die. Let me show you the dies. You can do quite a lot with these, even without the stamps. I mean, the stamps kind of are more of a complement to the dies, not rather than a match. This one here, this one does cut out a stamp, but the others are just match-ups. They're not actually meant to cut out the stamps like some do. So they're more of a complementary set. So I've done 2 of these mountains. So you can see you've got this mountain die, this one here. This one just cuts out the mountains as almost like triangles, whereas you've got this one that has like snow caps on it, and that's what I've used here to cut the snowy bit, this one, which layers over the plain one. Okay, and that gives you the snow cap mountains, which looks really great. Okay, a lot of fun. All right, then I've cut 2 of those mountains, solid mountains out. All right, and then I've cut out 2 of the softer hills, which is this one here. Okay, I've cut 2 of those out. And I've cut out my little trees. I actually really love these little trees. I think they're gorgeous. Can you see those there? Those are the same trees that I've used on here. I think they're really nice. Okay, and I cut them out of glimmer paper because glimmer, you know, you've got to use that stuff. It's beautiful. I'm going to start with the white and we'll see how this goes. If we need to, we can revert to the other one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create like a scene working from the bottom up. And I want my different layers to kind of work together. So I've got these 2 here. All right. Now I want the lighter one at the front and the bigger one, the darker one at the back. But I don't want the shapes to be the same. Okay. So I'm actually going to have this one. I'm going to turn it over so that it is going to go kind of here, if that makes sense. So my shapes are different. So it looks like my mountains are not the same. Good morning, Pam. Nice to see you. All right. Then I've also got behind this, I'm going to have, actually, I might go this one. I'm going to have this one going this way and this one going this one. So I've turned these 2 the opposite way as well. So rather than having them the same, where they kind of get lost in front of each other, I'm having them so that they look different. Okay. Does that make sense? And then that one's going to go behind there. So just to give you an idea of what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to build a little scene with some, so it looks like rows of hills and mountains, okay? And I'm going to be putting that down towards here. Now, you could actually glue these onto a piece of paper and run the whole lot through the rectangle die, and it would put your stitches down the side of this as well. It would be going through a few layers, so you might need to give it a bit of elbow grease, but it would also be a little tricky to cut because there's so many layers. If you had less layers, it would work really beautifully, but because we have 4, I've decided instead to cut my pieces off with a pair of scissors when I'm ready for that. So what I want to do first is work on my sky. I was just thinking I had I wanted to use a small circle die to create or a punch, but we don't have any circle punches anymore, which I'm a little bit sad about because punches are very easy. I'm just looking in my little collection of die cut shapes here. I always keep, these are things that have been left over from other projects, and sometimes I can, like, we've got big circles, but have I got any small ones? I might need to cut myself a small one, and that's okay. If I need to cut it, I need to cut it, because I want to make like a moon kind of thing. Well, could be a sun too, I suppose. And we have, oh look, there's a vellum piece if I decide I want another layer as well. So I've got a few different layers going on here. All right. Let me grab out my dies. And I'm going to use one of my small circles, or the smallest circle from the Beautiful Shapes dies. This is actually, we have got, I need to tell you, we have got a fantastic new die set coming in the new catalogue that's Stylish Shapes, it's called. And does anyone remember the old Stitch Shapes? The Stitch Shapes were fantastic. Okay, there was 4 circles, 4 ovals, and 4 squares. And they were pretty much my favourite, die set that we had. Someone told me, look, I've just started getting into die cutting, what should I get first? And I would always tell them that one. And then not the catalogue now, but the previous catalogue, they got rid of them. Okay, so yeah, it was a little bit heartbreaking, because there you go, there's the smallest one there, and I think that will be fine. It was a bit heartbreaking when we got rid of them, because I couldn't recommend them to anyone anymore, because I thought they were always so good. But I'm going to be really honest with you. I mostly use the circles and the squares. I didn't very often use the ovals, but it was worth it just for the circles, really, and the squares were a good bonus as well. But yeah, I didn't use them very often when it came to the ovals. So this new set has stitching on both the inside and the outside. So both the negative image you're cutting from and the piece you cut out is going to have stitching on it, which is fantastic. And it doesn't have any ovals. It has circles, more circles than we had before. It has squares, and it has banners. And I am so excited about them. I cannot wait to get them, because I think they're going to be the perfect thing to recommend to people who are starting out on their die cutting journey. I think that's fantastic. All right, let me cut this little tiny circle. I'm grabbing my machine. Right behind me here. Yeah, morning Cookie, there he is. He's never far away, poor Mr. Cookie. I've got a piece of white here. I'm just going to cut that. It's just plain old basic white cardstock I'm cutting. Something else we've got in the new catalogue coming out, and that's masking paper, and I'll be using that for this process instead of white cardstock. I can't wait to get my hands on it. So there's a few fun things coming in the new catalogue that are going to be fantastic for us to use. Really, really good. I'm going to pop that there so I don't lose it. All right, so I'm going to put this, where shall I put this? I think just to this side here. And I'm going to use just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of seal, because seal is great just to put a little bit on and give it a bit of stick and like I've used the tiniest amount, and that's going to be enough to hold that. Now when we get our masking paper, that's going to be better because it's thinner, so you won't get that halo around it. And also it's tacky on one side, I believe, so I just can't wait to see it. I can't wait for it to come so we can do all kinds of things with it. All right, so let's start by colouring this sky. I've got a blending brush, and I've got, let's start with Fresh Freesia and also Blackberry Bliss. We'll use both. And let's grab some ink onto our brush, and I'm going to start here from this side off the paper and come on down, and we're going to go straight over that circle. Don't worry if you get a little bit of extra up the top here. This is only the first colour layer, so just by continuing to go over and over it, it's going to even out the colour a little bit. And I'll be taking this off in a minute, so don't worry about that either. I'm going to go and use my other colour, my darker colour. I'm looking forward to the masking paper too, Anita. I'm really excited about it. I always, whenever we get a new catalogue, I go looking to see what's new. What new things can I play with that are going to be fun to work with. All right, so now we're coming in with our darker colour, and you can see that it's evening the colouring. But I'm only doing the very top bit, about an inch or so. See how the colour really pools on the edge of that white, okay? So if I take that off now, look, see, now I've got like a beautiful moon there. Now I haven't come all the way down. That may leave a little bit of light near the horizon in the distance on the mountains, and that's exactly the way I want it. That's perfect. Yes, I'm hoping the magnetic platform is going to be available, but goodness knows, I'm also not expecting miracles after being without one so long. So I'm not even going to say how I want that to go, because I really don't know. All right, so this piece is going to end up down here, right on this edge. All right, so that's how it's going to be. So let's put these bits up before this. Now I'm thinking that I might just go over the edge of this one as well. So sometimes putting a bit of an edge on your dies is a really nice look. Just going over the edge like this. Now let's see how far we need to go up to hide this edge. Right, so I just want to sort of leave a tiny little bit of white here for the trees to go on. So probably about 2 or 3 millimeters. And let's glue that down. I'm committed now. Just like that. Right, and then we've got this one here. Oh, now I want to make sure I've left enough space there to put this on top. All right, so let's, you know what might be better than using seal? We might use Tombow, because that way we've got a bit of time to move it. So let me grab that. So this piece is going to go on this side. And I'm just going to put it along the bottom edge, not at the top, so that I can still slide things in behind there. There we go, like that. So I still got room here to slide things in. All right. It kind of looks nice, just those 2 hills, actually. Maybe I don't need the blue ones. And maybe I bring my fresh freesia down a little bit more. I don't know. What do you think? Do we like this? So let me put a row of Tombow right along this edge. It might take a moment for it to dry, but that's okay. All right. How's that looking? What do we think? Do we just like it with these colors and we don't throw in the blues? There is a tiny bit of blue at the top here, so we will get away with the color if we want to. Do we want to keep layering, or do we want to leave it like this? You think you need something for contrast? Hi Cheryl, nice to see you. The glimmer paper is called the supple glimmer paper. Okay, let me show it to you, because there's a bit of an error in the catalogue with this. So you can find it most easily by turning to the index at the back. The index in the back of this catalogue is fantastic. And they've listened to us and have actually now made it alphabetical order rather than page number order, which is absolutely fantastic. So if you haven't seen that, definitely worth a look. This is the supple shimmer paper, and it's on page 87 in the index. Okay, it's 12 by 12 paper, and it's pink. And you can see here it says, well, it doesn't say it on this page, but it says on page 67, it says blue. So let's turn to page 67. And it's shown a little bit more closer up. It's here going off the edge of the page. So it's easy to miss. Okay, supple shimmer, 2 sheets, one of each of 2 colors, pink and blue. Let me tell you, the color in this pack is not this. Okay, it is actually, the pink is not too bad. That's kind of close. I mean, it's brighter, as you can see here. It's brighter. But this here is absolutely not this color. Let me show you what color it is. This is the color it is, all right? This is actually Iridescent Pool Party, which I prefer. I think it looks better than this, but this is really badly represented in the catalogue. The glimmer does get lost. It's only $8.75 for a pack of this. 2 sheets, one of this one, 12 by 12, and one of the pink, 12 by 12. Okay, and it's $8.75. So a really small thing to add to an order if you love it. I bought myself several packs. It's been handy for doing rainbows. It's been handy for doing all kinds of fantastic glittery, shimmery things. So, yeah, I love it. But it's lost, like you say, it's lost in the catalogue. Okay. Maybe add a bit of blue. All right. Okay, let's try it and see what it looks like. All right. So I'm actually going to grab my navy ink. And I'm going to do the edge of this one as well. So let's have a play with this. I'm just going to... The other thing I could do is add some snow to it by either by adding white or by using the snow cap dye. But I kind of like it with just the blue on it as well. All right, so that is going to go behind here. Actually, it's not. I'm going to have it going the other way. I'm going to do the back of it because it would be better if this goes down, so it'd be better if this goes up. So let's do the other side. Good little bit of sponging on the edges always makes it look amazing. All right, can you see that? Oh, you mean the glimmer on the card blends in with the pink. I see what you mean. I did think about putting on a vellum layer for that reason. I mean, I still could, I suppose, because there's nothing behind there. I could still do that. But I kind of like, I know, I kind of liked the pink as it was. What do we think? Do we want to put a piece of glimmer? No, and see, then we're going to lose our freesia. I wonder if I could do that. Anyway, I'll have a think. Have a think about that. All right, so this one is going to end up in here. So let's add some glue to the back of this, just down the bottom. It's going to be enough to hold it, but not secure the top. And let's hold that up and slide that in. Okay, like that. And then this one doesn't really need any sponging because it's already navy, but I'll just do a tiny, tiny bit. I don't think you're going to really see it. And we'll have that one going off on this side. Well, it can't hurt. Let's have a look and see how this looks when we put it on. So just that row. Although this one's going up to the top, so I can add a little bit more glue up the mountains if I want to. All right. That's how it's looking. And it's kind of weird, isn't it, with all these pieces coming off the edge. So I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to grab my scissors. But not my ribbon scissors because I don't want them to end up getting yucky. Using your ribbon scissors on paper can dull them. So try and keep them. If you've got a pair of scissors that you keep for ribbon, try and use them only for ribbon. All right. And cut off this side. Oh, I got a mark up here. How do I do that? Goodness me. Well, you know, there's a number of things we can do. We can, if we have a little mark like this, that's a great place for some birds. And we know we've got some great horizon birds. Let me grab them. I'm not sure where they are. I used them the other night when I was working on the class, and I'm not sure if I put them back. Going through my stamp supplies. maybe not. We might have to add them after. I mean, we could add bling, we could add a sentiment. There's lots of things we could do with that, okay? And we can make that. Let's glue this one down. Actually, yeah, I do want that side. The other side. Just for a second, I thought, oh, the blue background would be nice, and it would, but not on Fresh Freesia cardstock. So let me pop that on here. And then this piece is going to go on here. It's certainly different, that's for sure. And I'm thinking maybe some big dimensionals, probably. Probably. I'll put one in each corner. And then, hang on. We should stamp those birdies first, shouldn't we? Give me 1 second, guys. I am not sure what I've done with my On the Horizon set tonight. This is what happens when you've just driven home this afternoon, and then everything isn't where you remember you put it the other day. I'm having a quick look to see if I put them under something here on my desk, because that's entirely possible. Definitely a Linda moment tonight, isn't it? On the Horizon, where did you go? No, it doesn't want to be found. So I guess with that in mind, I might put this together and post it, because you know I'm going to find it, right? As soon as I finish this video, I'm going to find the stamp set. That's exactly what is going to happen. On the Horizon. Never mind. Never mind. It will show up. But I think you're getting the idea anyway. You can see how this is going to look. And I'm thinking maybe some birds across here, or this would also be a great place. But I had been thinking about putting my sentiment down the bottom here, and probably in Blackberry Bliss ink, or I could go with the navy. Maybe we go with the navy, seeing as we've got it here in the mountains. What do you guys think? Pink on pink gets a little lost? Yeah, maybe. Maybe it would have been better on the blue, in which case I wouldn't use that Fresh Freesia. Okay, I would have used probably Misty Moonlight as a base. So I'm thinking about this one. What do you think? Do you think that's better? Would that be a better, the dark blue? Yeah, I think the dark blue would look good. This is good. Down the bottom here, it's light. So this is a great place to stamp a blue sentiment. Okay. But on this one, I would probably put it, because there's no real light space, I would put it on a banner and put it across. So you like the navy? Everyone's saying the navy. Okay. You have to keep saying your name is Linda, not Martin. I'm so sorry that you have to do that. Oh, yeah. So, all right. So let's do that instead. How does that sound? Shall we do the blue instead? I think maybe it's better contrast, like somebody said. And let me grab, I'm going to grab a piece of Misty Moonlight cardstock. Does anyone know if the Misty Moonlight cardstock has sold out yet? I'm not sure. All right, I'm just grabbing my trimmer to cut my paper. If anyone's ever wondering, this is A4 size cardstock, and halfway is 14.8. It's actually 14.85, but I usually go pretty close to the 14.8 mark and cut that in half, and that gives me 2 card bases, okay, at exactly the same size. So that's always a good thing to know. If you're a new card maker and you're wondering what the dimensions are, that's your basic size. Now, if you're in the US, your basic size is 8.5 by 5.5. Okay, and that gives you this size. Let me show you the difference. So this is an American card size, and this is an Australian or metric card size. for those of you in the UK, that would be the same for you guys because you guys use metric too. So let's use a bone folder and squish this over. All right, so you can see the American card is shorter by quite a bit, nearly a centimetre shorter, okay, but it's a little bit wider. Can you see that? All right, so our basic card size starts out. So yours is more square if you're in the US. See, it's a little bit, several millimetres wider, but it's quite a bit shorter, nearly a centimetre shorter. So that's a good thing to know. If ever you're wondering, sometimes people say, you know, can you convert it into inches? It's not as easy as it sounds because we're actually working with totally different sized cardstock. Totally different. So that makes it pretty interesting. All right, let me use this again. And this time I'm going to use, oh, which half will I use? This half or that half? They're both so pretty. It's so nice. It's not going to matter a lot because we're going to have a rectangle in the middle of it. So I'm doing this 10 centimeters wide by 14.3, which is going to fit exactly inside that card base that I've just cut. Okay, for anyone who is wondering about sizing. All right, so that's going to fit right there in the middle of that. So let me glue that on. You put a layer of navy behind the centerpiece to make it pop. Yeah, that's another way of doing it too. Yep. There's a number of choices we have here. I really like, I mean, I'm a big blue fan. So anytime I have the choice to go to blue, I'll usually do it. Yeah. And I think both of them work though. So I've got this bit of, it's a bit darker there at the top, and you can see the misty moonlight and the navy mixed into this piece quite nicely. There we go. And then there's our, and I'm not going to glue, I'm not going to put it on dimensionals until I find my birds because I want to stamp some birds going across here. All right. And then what I would do is I'm going to stamp, but I'm going to do it on white banner down the bottom here so it stands out. We do have a stamp in this set that just says breeze. In fact, I can show you it. This one here, if you wanted to put a sentiment here, you could put that on there because it's quite small, it's little. But if you wanted something long, the thinking of you would work really well. That's probably the one that I might include going if I wanted to put it on a banner. Okay, I'm going to put this aside, and you'll see a little bit later. As soon as I find my stamps, I'm going to stamp it for you and get that up on the Instagram page and my Facebook page for those of you who follow me on Facebook. You'll be able to see how it turned out. I'll also have a picture of it on the thumbnail too. Try turning the DSP, sorry. I see you fixed it, the deposit around. Yeah, I'm going to give that a try and we'll see how it looks. And I've got this little bit that I cut off, and that'll be nice on something too. They're just such pretty paper. I mean, how beautiful is that? Isn't that gorgeous? Really, really lovely. Oh, hey, Ellen. Nice to see you. Hi. Did you have a nice, good Friday? It feels like does anyone else feel like it's a Sunday night, not a Friday night? It's completely thrown me tonight. I don't know what I'm doing. All right, let me put those to one side and get rid of a couple of these things that I've got randomly spread around the desk. And these cards can go. And the Blackberry Bliss can go. We don't need that again. All right. So I am actually going to do, as I mentioned earlier, I'm actually going to do one of the cards from my class last week, partly because I had a pack left over, and that meant that I could use it up tonight. So making 30 cards today. Oh, my goodness, that's a lot of cards. Yep, that's a lot. I know, public holiday kind of throws you out, doesn't it, Anita? Absolutely it does. All right. So the other night I did some Slimline cards. And Slimline cards are, here's one we did, and this is the one I want to do with you tonight. Slimline cards are a different size. I'm going to turn this over because I don't like competing with this mess on my, it's pretty, but I don't want to compete with it. All right, let's turn that over. All right, so this is a Slimline card. part of the reason why Slimline card, I mean, they've been popular for a while. This is a really popular size card. People love them. It is that's a good color, Cheryl. Blackberry Bliss. I use it quite a bit. So the Slimline cards have been really great because they're a fun size to work with, something a little bit different. And my class the other night, I made 3 different Slimline cards. This one, I've got it held together with a ribbon, which you can see here ties at the side. And this ribbon is actually the cotton ribbon from the New Horizons suite. So that kind of goes with our theme tonight as well. And there's a cat knocking at the door. Oh, well, he'll just have to wait. It's dinner time, and no, he doesn't go anywhere else for someone to feed him. He comes here, all right? I'm not sure how he survived last night when I was away at my dad's, but anyway. All right, so we've got some different things we're working with. I'm working with the Blessings of Home suite this time, which is this stamp set that has this beautiful stamp, and also the paper is from the same suite. Okay, it's called the Heart and Home suite, and it's at the back of our catalogue. This one is going, this stamp set and dies are going into the new catalogue, so you don't need to rush out to get them or anything. This is them here, this one, stamps and the matching dies. And some of the other things in the suite, though, are not. So the paper is not going in. I believe the doilies are, from memory. The matte dots are, and the Hive embossing folder is going into the new catalogue. But some of the other items, like the paper and some other bits and pieces, like I'm not sure about the ribbon. I'm not sure. I need to check that one, but I know the paper's not going in. So if you love the paper, want to grab it now. So I have used the paper tonight, and I don't know if you can see here, but I also sponged over the bottom of it because I liked this paper having quite a bit of white in it. Sponges really, really nicely, and it adds like a little bit of contrast from the bottom to the top and makes it a little bit more of an interesting card. If you just had this all the way through, it'd still be pretty, but I think this makes it more interesting. Okay, and this is another one I did. I haven't put the sentiment on it yet, but this one just has almost the same. The only difference between these is that I've included a second little branch here. You can see I haven't added my sentiment, but then I've only used blue and green, the soft succulent, to do my colouring, whereas this one I added some fresh freesia. Okay, so the ribbon is not, it's not. That's a shame. Thank you for telling me though, Ellen. That's helpful. Oh, it's Friday morning. Oh, 3:20 a.m. and obviously you can't sleep. Is it Minor? Is that how I say your name? And it's 11:20 a.m. in the UK on Good Friday. So everyone's on different time zones. We're all over the place, aren't we? So this is the one that I thought I'd do with you tonight. So for a Slimline card, okay, I kind of work with the envelope size. So these are the envelopes, and these are going into the new catalogue. They're in the mini for anyone who has found them in there and wondered, what will I do with these? So where are they? Here they are, the Slimline envelopes, $17.50 for 15 envelopes. They're on page 53. And the reason I'm telling you about them is because they are going to go into the new catalogue. You can sort of, they're another thing that gets lost in this catalogue. I love the way they lay the catalogues out, but it's both a good thing and a bad thing that some items kind of, they're part of, it almost looks like they're part of the samples here on this page. They're actually showing you the envelopes. There's grey, soft succulent, smoky slate, soft succulent, and white. And they've got this lovely little design inside the flap of the envelope. Really, really cute. And they match up with the Slim Sayings bundle, which is a stamp set and dies. These dies cut shapes that fit in the envelopes. Okay, these are not going into the new catalogue. These are going. So the dies and the stamps are not going, but the envelopes are. Okay, so the envelopes should be able to get those for a while. You don't need to rush for those. They're going to be around. So this is them. Okay, I've got the soft succulent one. You can see the little pattern that's on the inside. Aren't they nice? Oh, thank you, Mona. I'm very grateful. Thank you so much for popping in. It's nice to have you with us. You know who I haven't seen tonight? I haven't seen Jean. Huh. Is she here? She's usually with us, but I know it's a crazy hour for her as well because she's on the West Coast. She's in Oregon. So, yeah, it's always a crazy time for her. So she may watch the replay. So, so you can see they've all got that same sort of design. This one's got a black pattern. This one's got the grey, this one's got the soft succulent. So I worked out my measurements for my cards, of course, based on these envelopes, because you want them to fit in the envelopes, right? So this is, in metric, 18 centimetres wide and 21 centimetres long. That means this is the same width as a piece of A4 cardstock. All right, so let me grab one. Just any random piece of cardstock. Oh, we ended up with Night of Navy. So you can see that this is 21 centimetres and so is this. All right, so it's exactly the same width. So it's the same width, but 18 centimetres down I've cut it, which means you actually only get one slimline card base out of a sheet of A4. Okay, just bear that in mind. Because it's 18 centimetres long, I have scored it exactly at 9 centimetres, which means I have two 9-centimetre panels to make up that 18 centimetres. So it's already scored, makes it a little bit easier. And I'm just going to fold that over with my bone folder. All right. Then I've got a piece of Misty Moonlight and a piece of DSP from the Blessings or Heart and Home DSP. Now, I have made these to fit in here. Okay, so if this is 9 by 21, this is 8.5 by 20.5. This is 8 by 20. Okay, so each one is 0.5 centimetre, and if you were doing this in the US, you'd be making them each 1/4 of an inch smaller than the next one. Okay, so depending on where you are, obviously that's going to change, but for this size, we're all working with a direct translation of these envelopes because we're all making the same size cards to fit into the envelopes. I hope that makes sense. I think I said that a little bit wrong, but hopefully you know what I mean. All right, so I'm going to pop this here so that it perfectly fits inside my Misty Moonlight card with a little bit of a border around. Okay, and then this can also, oh, you know what we didn't do? We didn't do our sponging. All right, it's not too late though. So I'm going to use a sponge here and I'm going to use Misty Moonlight. This color is retiring, so if you don't have it, you might be out of luck. I don't know. I don't want to say for everyone's markets if they've all sold out, but I know certainly a lot of them have. So I'm starting here at the bottom and I'm going to sponge my color on. Now, ideally, it would have been good to do this before I stuck it to the Misty Moonlight piece, but because it's the same color ink, it doesn't matter too much. It really doesn't matter. And I'm just going to go up about 1/3 of the way. Make it a little bit darker down the bottom by going over the bottom again. Okay, it's looking good. Just couldn't sleep. Well, I'm glad that we're hopefully providing you with a distraction and you'll be able to get back to sleep really soon. Just relax your mind. Hope that works. All right, so this now can get put straight onto our card base. And I'm going to go ahead. You could use seal, you could use Tombow, whatever floats your boat, whatever you prefer. So if you've just tuned on, I've been talking about my online class tonight. And anyone, no matter where you are, can do the class with me. If you're overseas, you can just buy the tutorial. But if you're here in Australia, you can either buy the tutorial or if you'd like all the supplies sent out to you, you can place a $50 order. So that is how I usually run my online classes. And if you want to read more about it, it's on my blog right now. When I have finished mine, yeah, tag me. Do it. Do it. That'd be lovely, Jenny. Oh, no, Judy. I'm so sorry. You're tired. Yeah, I had a nap this afternoon, so I've got a bit more energy than I might normally have. All right, so this piece here is now ready to go. And then I'm going to get to my, my ribbon and this little doily. Now, these doilies are part of the Heart and Home suite as well. Really, really lovely. I love them. I'm just having a look to see what I did with my ribbon. And I think I brought it over, actually. Probably fell on the floor again like usual. I've also got another ribbon here. You know what? This one also goes, even though with some not my color of choice. I've used the Misty Moonlight ribbon that's from the New Horizons, but you could also use the soft succulent because it's going to match in with the leaves. See that? So that one will work as well. Let me just grab some more. You know what we should do? We should use the denim ribbon because that's retiring. Let's use that. This is the Misty Moonlight ribbon that is in the New Horizons pack, and there's also a petal pink one as well. All right, so let's go with this and see how this will look. Something a little different. I've been using about 45 centimeters of ribbon because it's got to go all the way across, and you've got to have enough here to tie. So let's see how much I have. Needs it to be a little bit longer. About there is about 45 centimeters, and I want to use my ribbon scissors. Here they are. All right, so then I'm going to sort of have this so it falls over the top of my card all the way around, and I want the ends to come together here. So the two ends are together. All right. You can decide whether you want this to be in the middle. So on this one, it's slightly below the middle. On this one, I think it's exactly in the middle. So if I want to go a little below, I can, okay? And I'm going to make sure it's sitting flat here on the top and flat here on the back. All right, so going off to one side, I'm going to grab my doily. Oh, actually, before I do that, I'm going to cut a little edge off my doily. About 4 bumps. So I'm talking about these little scallops. I'm going to cut 4 of those off. So from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, yep. So now I've got a flat edge to my doily. And that's going to go, when this sits flat, move it up a tiny bit, change my mind. I want this to sit right over the top of it like this. And the doily is actually going to be what holds this ribbon in place. Okay, so I'm going to use a glue that is really strong. Okay, Seal or Seal Plus. I didn't use Tombow because I'm going to have to hold it in place while it dries, and I just want it to be quick. So I'm actually adding lots and lots of Seal. But Seal's nice and strong. I had a girl here last night who brought her old snail with her, and she asked me if she used snail, and I said I didn't think it would be strong enough. So snail was fun and lots of people loved it. I loved it, but it wasn't the strongest of adhesives, and I want this to hold really well. All right, so I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to push it down to give it a really good bond. Okay, so that's stuck in place. Now, the thing about this now is that there is a ridge here. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see the ridge? The ridge where it goes through here. I love that you guys are talking about your cats. It's all right. It's nice that you can talk about your cats and still watch card making at the same time, right? Because, hey, that's what we do. Right, so now I'm just going to tie that right over left just to hold that in place so I'm not fighting with the ends. The back here, all right, is just going to sit flat. So that stays open, and it's only glued down here on the front. So when you open up your card, like here, you can see that that's just going to float around. But when it's closed, you'll tie it. Okay, so that's, if you wanted to, you could also glue it on the back, but I didn't bother. I didn't worry about that. Now, also I have a piece of vellum here that I've cut with the 3D Hive embossing folder, and you can have it going so the bumps go up or the bumps go down. It looks more hivey. If you want it to really look like beeswax, it looks probably more like that if you have the ridges coming up and then the bumps on the other side. But it doesn't really matter. It's just a background piece, and you don't see much of it anyway. So it doesn't really matter which way it goes. So let me grab a couple of glue dots. So one here, probably 3 is going to work fine. 3 glue dots. 1 here. That'll do. It's not hard to do though, Nairi. It's, you know, that's the thing. Very often the pretty ones are the simple ones, right? So that's actually going to cover up that ridge. You won't see that anymore. We're not seeing the ridge of the ribbon, which is great. Okay, and that's going to sit like that. Then we've got our flower to do. Now, let me grab you that. I'm using the Stampin'Up tonight. And I've got a template that I've already used. And I do this in classes a lot because all I've got to do is cut out a whole bunch of blank templates. We've already got this set up, and this goes just back into the hole that they were cut out from. It's the easiest way. If you have a Stampin'Up, such an easy way to get your dies really quickly cut. And I'm just deciding, do I want to use navy or night or misty moonlight for this? Maybe I'll use navy, just to make it stand out a little bit more. I'm going to ink it up. And then, because this is pushed right in the corner and this is exactly in the hole there, it should line up perfectly. And it does. All right, so now I have my die cut piece. And then if you were doing multiples of these, you just keep putting your blanks straight into that hole and bringing it over. And you can do, you know, as many as you want. Fantastic if you're doing like invitations or a Christmas card that was all the same or something like that. All right. So now I've got these. I can use blends. I can use blender pens. Blender pens are my preference because it gives you a softer look. So I'm going to use, I'm just deciding what colour this has been used for. This has been used for Misty Moonlight. So let me open up the Misty Moonlight one. And I'm just going to add a bit of colour to this. I'm not going to... All right, so I'm just going to use a little bit of this over the centre. I'm sort of following the shading on the stamp. And I'm just going to colour these little flowers in as well. I'm not being precise. I'm just adding a bit of colour to each flower. So I'm not trying to get it perfectly coloured or anything like that. I mean, you could. It would take a lot longer. But I don't know that sometimes I think it looks just as nice just to give it a small amount of colour. And I've got another one here, and I think I'll use soft succulent for that because that's what I find. This is a really good neutral kind of not too bright green that you can play around with. I'm just going to go into my green and add a bit of colour. Once again, just add a bit of colour here and there to your leaves. It's very quick colouring this way, and you don't have to be very precise. Just going to do the stems. I'm just watching you guys chit chat. Okay. Nearly there. Just a few more leaves to do. There we go. And I'm just going to call that enough for now. Obviously, you could be a lot more careful with your colouring if you've got the time and you want to do it. The one thing I do like to do is add some Wink of Stella into the centre of the flowers to make it a bit sparkly. And it also picks up a little bit of the navy when you do that, so sort of like sparkly blue centres. There we go. Probably doesn't show very much in the camera, but I can see it. It's a bit of sparkle there. All right, on the back of this, I'm going to add a couple of dimensionals, just a couple, just probably two. because we want to be able to slide our little sparkly branch in behind. So you don't want to have too many behind. You just want that, you want there to be room to slide that. So I'm going to take those off. And let's pop that there in the middle. And then because I've got room under here, this is a good opportunity. I've got my bow punch. This is in the mini catalogue, this one. And I'm going to cut myself, it cuts two branches, a small one and a big one. And I'm going to throw a glue dot behind here. Let's pop that there. And if I wanted to, I could add the little one as well. We might as well. Let's add that. All right, there we go. And I'm going to tie this here. Actually, turn it this way, I think. So this is a little bit of a different look because it's your denim ribbon as opposed to the thin ribbon that I used on the last one. But you could use whatever ribbon you happen to have at your disposal. And I like the idea of using a ribbon because not only is it a little bit different, but it does help the card to sit nice and flat. Okay, and maybe that's a little bit long. Anyway, it's looking good. Right, the last thing to do is we have this little die here. This is from the Stitch So Sweetly dies, and these guys, they're going. It's very sad. I'm really, really sad about these. I'm just looking. This is the Blessings of Home set. That this is the flower we've just coloured. This is where it came from. I'm thinking I will use the Thank You for this one. And I think I'm going to go Night of Navy again. Ink that up. Nice. Oh, thanks, Lynn. I'm glad you like it. No chit chat from you this time, Cherie. Well, I hope you're enjoying the card anyway. All right, so now this is going to go on here, and I'm going to have it so it just goes a little bit underneath the doily because that's going to sort of make it easier to see the edge of that doily, and that looks rather cute, doesn't it? So let's add some glue behind that. Very often I use dimensionals behind sentiments, but I'm not this time because I've already got my flower on dimensionals, and so we've got that little bit of dimension there. We don't necessarily need it again here. And that goes just like that. And what do you think? Okay, then we have ourselves a beautiful little card. If you wanted to, you could open up and maybe I've tied that a little tight. You don't want people to have to work too hard to open their card, right? Then again, maybe you do. I don't know. Right, so let me have a little look. We've got, oh, that's what the problem is. There's a little bit of glue in there. All right, I'm going to use the Misty Moonlight, which is a lighter colour, and I'm going to find my big stamp here, and it's going to go, that's this big one, it's going to go on block E. And I'm going to stamp over the corner of the inside of my card because that's really always a nice thing to do. One of my favourite things to do actually is to stamp over the inside of the card. And let's pop that there like that. And that's really pretty. Looks nice, doesn't it? If you wanted to, you could also grab a bit of Misty Moonlight and even sponge over the corner, which adds a little bit of something as well. Right, not too much. You don't want it too dark. Just a little bit of light sponging in the corner. All right, and then while I'm here, I've also got my envelopes. Remember we looked at the envelopes before? So let's just move this out of the way. And I'm deciding whether I want to use, which envelope I want to use, because we have used the green. So if we would get away with the green because we've got the green in our leaves. We could use the white, and we could also use the grey, which goes sort of in here with the vellum. What do we think? Which envelope? The first person to pick an envelope is the one we're going to go with. Which envelope shall we use? Because that's the one I'm going to stamp on as well. So yes, Subu, you are correct. Gray says Wendy. Well, Wendy, you're the first. And Gray says Kathy. So there you go. Gray it is. All right, let me move these out of the way. I'm going to grab my Smoky Slate ink pad. I'm going to properly clean my stamp. And I use my good old Stampin' Scrub for that. I still use the Stampin' Scrub. I'm a little bit nostalgic about the scrub because it is the first item I ever bought from Stampin' Up. Before I bought anything else, I bought a Stampin' Scrub. I'm just going to clean that up just to get all the blue off. And then we're going to ink it up in the grey. And we're going to go over the edge of the envelope as well. There it is. Doesn't that look nice? I think that's really pretty. All right, so then we get to tie this back up again. We've got our bit of stamping inside. Tie it back up, and it goes with the beautiful envelope. And I think that's really nice. It'd be a nice special card for someone. If you have a Happy Mother's Day stamp, this would be a really nice Mother's Day card. And we have Mother's Day coming up. I don't think the UK doesn't have a Mother's Day coming up, does it? I think it's just us and the US. Our Mother's Day is the second Sunday in May. So we are coming up towards that. So if you're looking for a good Mother's Day card, this is a good one. I'm actually going to cut that a little bit shorter. I'm going to cut it the other way too. And cut that a little shorter too. There we go. And then that's going to fit beautifully in there. Even with the ribbon, it does still fit. The ribbon can make it a little bulky and you may need to slide the ribbon in, but it does still fit. That's something too I also noticed that it fits better. You just need to be a little careful how you put it in. It does fit better with the smaller ribbon, with this kind of ribbon, but it does still fit with the bigger ribbon too. All right, and there you go. Got that little bit of design there, and I think that's really, really pretty. So we had a bit of fun tonight. I'm going to finish off the other card because I want to use my birdies and go over that there, and then you'll see that on my page a little bit later. Okay. All right, guys. Well, we did good tonight. An hour and a quarter we are tonight. So I don't think it turned out too bad. But I hope that you guys are well and happy and everyone has a great weekend. Happy Easter to you all. No matter what you believe, whether you go to church on Easter, whether you don't, whatever it is that you do, I hope you spend it with loved ones and doing what you love and in a way that is meaningful to you. So there you go. There's my couple of cards tonight. All right, guys. Have a fantastic weekend. See you Sunday night. I will be here. And for the team, for the girls in the team, I'll be here I'm actually thinking I may not do Monday morning. I may do Tuesday morning instead because Monday's a holiday. So I'm actually thinking Tuesday morning might be a better morning for us to do. Okay. I'm glad you enjoyed the cards, guys. Good to see everyone here tonight and have a great week. Okay. Great weekend. See you soon. Bye.